taking the first 3 places, with Tollefson and Evans and Groblemore finishing behind Voss and Pitchford.
After 79 stages that covered nearly 1,200 kilometers of fast gravel road racing all across South Africa, we have a tie at the top. It's something that's never happened before in the history of the Sasol South African Rally Championship.
It all started just 8 months ago with round 1 of this year's championship, the Total Tour Natal. The defending champion, Hergen Vecken, had high hopes of getting his season off to a rapid start. But trouble on the very first stage of the year took the entire BP Volkswagen squad out of contention, allowing Johnny Gemmell to record the first victory of the year. Vecken turned the tables with a great win on Toyota's event in the Western Cape, and with Gemmell only managing 3rd, the same as Vecken's result in Natal, the scores were level. From round 3 of the championship, the popular Sasol rally in Mpumalanga, it was clear that the championship turned into a 2-horse race with Gemmell and Vecken trading faster stage times throughout the event. With just 1 stage to go, the rivals were tied with not even a second to separate them. Gemmell drove like a man possessed over the final few kilometers to take the win by 4 seconds and to move back into the championship lead. Round 4, the rally of South Africa in the forests around Ermelo in Mpumalanga. These roads are rough and demanding, and it didn't take long before they claimed a victim. Gemmell picked up a puncture which cost him a few minutes and any chance to compete for victory. Vecken's performance was a dominant one, resulting in his 2nd win and a 6-point lead. Then came the Volkswagen Rally in the Eastern Cape, the rally that Volkswagen wanted to win most, and they did exactly that. Vecken claimed the top step of the podium yet again, in what turned out to be a dream result for the BP squad as they occupied all 3 steps, with Gemmell relinquishing more valuable points due to a dreaded misfire under the bonnet of his Toyota. The points difference was now a full 14 points in Vecken's favour, but a puncture on the very first stage of round 6, the Osram rally in the mountains around Berkeley East, quickly turned the tables once again. Vecken could only manage 7, while Gemmell dominated from the front to record his 3rd victory of the season. 11 of the 14 points disappeared, leaving Vecken in front by only 3 points with 2 rounds to go. Round 7, the penultimate round in this year's championship, had all the ingredients for an epic battle. But a mistake by the champion early on day 2 nearly cost him any chance of championship glory. But he still managed a 5th place finish. Gemmell wasn't really able to capitalize on Vecken's misfortune, but a 3rd place finish still meant 3 more points, exactly what he needed to close the gap. With 145 points each, it's a dead heat at the top of the championship points table. With only 1 rally, 12 stages or 160 kilometers of special stage distance to go, this is a first in the history of the Sasol South African Rally Championship.
What makes the championship even more intriguing is a dropped score rule where teams only count their best 7 results from the 8-event series. Both are currently on 145 points, but Vecken must throw away 14 points and Gemmell must throw away 15. That effectively leaves Vecken with a 1-point advantage.
It may sound confusing, but the championship scenario is that if both Vecken and Gemmell finish inside the top 4, whoever is ahead will be crowned champion. If Gemmell is 4th or lower, he must finish 2 places or more ahead of Vecken, otherwise the final tally will once again be a tie, and Vecken will become the champion on a countback to 2nd place results, as both drivers have 3 wins each.
I bet my house is definitely me.
I'll win it.
I think it'll be a draw.
Oh, Johnny, absolutely. Johnny's going to take it.
No comment at this stage.
I say Hergen can do it.
Whether it's currently a tie or a 1-point lead, Vecken will feel the pressure as he has to beat Gemmell.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of pressure on us, but I think, pressure is something you put on yourself. I'm going to try and keep it calm and do what we normally do. We've been doing it for a lot of years, so we just drive as fast as we can, stay on the road.
But I think the pressure is slightly more on Johnny because, he hasn't won a championship yet.
Johnny Gemmell knows that the current champion is out there to beat him and to prevent him from winning his first ever overall rally championship.
So we also here to beat him. We need to beat him in the first 3 or 4 positions, and then we can win the championship. Yeah, a bit of pressure, but don't let it get to me. I'll rather save my energy and thoughts for the stages.
With most eyes on Gemmell and Vecken for championship glory, it's easy to forget that the remaining top South African rally crews, like 6-time champion Jan Habig, will still be fighting for a victory on the Toyota dealer Gauteng rally.
It's obviously the last event of the year, so I think they have got a big fight on their hands, and we'll sit and watch and see how it goes. But I think from our perspective, we'll try and go and win the event. It's not a bad idea.
Besides Fecken and Gemmel, Mark Cronier is the only other driver to taste champagne from the top step of the podium this year. He is also involved in a fight with Hurwig for third on the points table.
Yeah, absolutely. We've worked it out right down to the drop points. I think we've got a great shot. We've had a rough start to our season, and it's going to work out nicely.
Although former champion Enzo Keane is out of the running for championship glory this season, the Capetonian could still play a huge role in the outcome of this year's title fight.
Yes, I think I'm here to play a supportive role, and it's going to be interesting today, especially now with the wet, so I'm looking forward to seeing a good show from where I'm positioned.
On a good day, Jean-Pierre Damso can easily mix it up with the front runners, something which Toyota will count on during this decisive event. In the non-factory or second division S2000 class, Jaapie van der Kerk could once again be a top runner based on his speed from earlier in the season.
That's a new division, but I'll take that class, yes. We've been going every rally trying harder, keeping it neater, and also developing the car. But
popular Cape Town-based Spaniard Fernando Rueda has finally found the speed that he was looking for throughout the season and will hope to end it off on a high note.
Certainly I am. Unless it was a lot better. I must say we're getting to grip with the car finally. It's taken a long time, as I told you, but yeah, the car is much better. I'm getting a lot more confident. I'm comfortable in the car, and we're going to, give it all here.
Polokwane businessman Tian Subert has finished 10th or better in 6 of this year's events and will have the map reading services of Scotsman Drew Sturrock.
We're the least experienced team in the class, and we decided to bring Drew in. He's quite experienced, although he's young. He's with the UK Rally Academy, and they get trained by the likes of Paul Mills.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be, good stages. They look good on the DVD and that, so and the notes seem to work well, so I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Former Northern Region's rally champion Schalk Burger Jr. will make his debut in the top S2000 class.
It's a new benchmark. You work your whole career up to this moment, and now you're there, and now you have to perform. So there's some pressure on me.
The Toyota dealer Gauteng rally is now the final battleground of this year's championship. The stages are spread out between Witbank and Middelburg in Mpumalanga, and the Mealie Fields are at Babsfontein on the East Rand, bringing gravel road racing to the doorstep of millions of Gauteng residents.
For 2009, no less than 3 motorsport clubs collaborated to present the 2009 Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally. The stages around Witbank, Middelburg and Babsfontein traditionally provide a tough test of both man and machine, as they can dish up anything from sand to dust and now also mud with rough spots and jumps in between. Not exactly what you want when you have to drive on or even over the limits in an effort to be crowned South African champion. The 2009 Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally consists of 12 special stages covering a distance of over 300 kilometers, with 160 of those against the stopwatch. All of Friday's 4 stages will be contested near Middelburg and Witbank before the rally moves to Babsfontein for the final showdown on Saturday. Just before the start at Barloworld Toyota, it was time for the country's 6 fastest drivers to once again draw for their respective starting positions. As the stages are wet following torrential rain the night before, starting positions were less important than normal. Enzo Keane wasn't too unhappy about opening the road, followed by championship contenders Hergen Fecken and Johnny Gemmel. JP Damso would start the last event of the year in 4th, ahead of Jan Hurwig and the Toyota of Mark Cronier. At nearly 32 kilometers, stage 1 of the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally gave the competitors no chance to warm up or get used to the tricky and wet conditions. Rallies are often lost or even won on the first stage, as a large gap to the leader could prove to be too much to make up over the rest of the event.
3, 2, 1, go!
The real start of the 2009 Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally and the start of the final battle in this year's championship. The BP Ultimate Polo of Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson was the first car to break the Friday silence as they blasted into a wet stage 1. Keane seemed to have found new form in the latter part of the season, and it showed as he masterfully crossed the flying finish in a time of 19 minutes and 25 seconds.
You've got to watch the slippy or you could end up in a fence bowl. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Championship leaders Hergen Ficken and Pierre Aries were now also in stage 1 and chasing hard in the second of the BP Ultimate Polos. It is often Ficken's strategy to catch the competition off guard in a single stage, and like the great champions of the past, he chose to make his move on the first stage of the event.
400k kink left one, right one over small jump at the red arrows. Then 100 kink, right one, left one, go, go. 100 kink, right one, left one into K dip, and bump and another bump. K jump, 150, small bump.
His time, 19 minutes and 20 seconds. A great start for the champions.
We did make a few mistakes, so I'm not too happy with it, but the time seems all right.
Ficken's time was 5 seconds faster than Keen's, but the real fight is with Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh. The co-championship leaders were also pushing hard, knowing that they can't allow their rivals to open up an early lead. But halfway through stage 1, the Castrol Toyota Auris suffered a setback. Gemmel spun and stalled the car, followed by an agonizing few seconds to get the engine running.
Yeah, a few slippery corners there. One of them caught us out a bit, but all right otherwise.
The luckless JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen's terrible season continued when they rolled the Team Total Evolution Toyota Runex in stage 1.
We didn't finish this rally. This rally's not good to us. And it looks like it's the same. The whole season's been going for a terrible year this year, and I think I'm just glad this year's over.
6 times drivers champion Jan Habig and 7 times navigators champion Douglas Judd started the event third on the overall points table. But teammate Keen and Mark Ronier were closing in, forcing Habig to still drive hard on the final event of the year. The BP Ultimate Polo had a less than perfect start to the event, crossing the flying finish in a time of 19 minutes and 47 seconds, losing a full 27 seconds to his teammate Ficken. Besides Ficken and Gemmel, Castrol Toyota's Mark Ronier and Robert Paisley was the only other pairing to taste victory in 2009. Ronier is fresh from a win the month before and had a huge role to play in the overall championship fight, but a power steering problem halfway through stage 1 didn't help. Ronier only managed a time of 19 minutes and 49 seconds.
Yes? No power steering.
Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton rolled their new Africa Developments Toyota Runex in the wet sand during the shakedown stage before the rally even started. The damage was minimal and the pair still managed to start the rally and set the 6th fastest time on stage 1. The Salom Group Volkswagen Polo of Tiens Hubert with Scotsman Drew Starrock in the hot seat recorded the 7th fastest time in stage 1, but nearly a minute off the leading pace.
Slippery, place is very wet, slide around, and it's very, if you get into the plowed lands, it's loose.
Former Northern Regions champions Skalk Burger and Armand de Tooy were nervous about their Class S2000 national debut in the Skalk Burger Motorsport Toyota Runex. The son of former rally great Skalk Burger Sr. got rid of his butterflies in his stomach by setting the 8th fastest time. For the final rally of 2009, Fernando Rueda once again joined forces with former navigator Dave Lefkowitz inside the Team Total Evolution Toyota Runex. Rueda was nearing the end of his first season in the top S2000 class and started off by setting the 9th fastest time. The Cecil, Konica Minolta Subaru of Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich already wrapped up the production car category halfway through the season, but unfortunately for their many fans, the car and 2 of its technicians perished during a road accident the month before. In Wilkins' absence, relative newcomer Chart Coetzee and former driver turned navigator Etienne Lawrence won the opening stage in the production car category. The Midas Subaru also managed to set the 10th fastest time behind the string of S2000 cars.
It's early days of the Toyota dealer Gauteng rally, but Ficken already has a 5-second lead over teammate Kuhn. But more importantly though is the 23-second lead over championship rival Johnny Gemmel. Habig and Ronier are nearly half a minute back and will have it all to do if they want to help their teammates settle the championship. After the break, Toyota dealer Gauteng rally action continues with 2 more wet stages in and around Woodbank and Middelburg. Hergen Ficken has moved 1 step closer to retaining his title by taking the early initiative. But Gemmel has shown in the past that he can handle the pressure. So this battle is crowned the 2009 champions. Hergen Ficken blasted out of the blocks and straight into the lead, the perfect way to start his onslaught.
Yeah, look, we pushed quite hard. It's very difficult to pace yourself in this event. You don't know what the others are doing, and it felt slow. We tried to stay in a clean line, and it seemed to have worked. We've got a good time.
Championship contender Johnny Gemmell had a less than perfect start, losing 23 seconds to his rival in the opening stage.
Yeah, it wasn't a nice start there. Midway through was pretty nice, felt good. It's quite soft and sandy. It feels like it's not going so nicely, and then we slipped on one of those slow corners and stalled. Wouldn't start quick, and then started and got going again, so we lost a bit of time there.
The battle continues with stages 2 and 3. Stage 2 is a 16.7 kilometer affair around the Duva power station on the outskirts of Woodbank. It's also a beautiful and flowing stage that will suit a smooth and fast driving style. Duva is immediately followed by stage 3, an exact repeat of stage 1. As the drivers will now be familiar with the wet conditions and the road, we can expect the stage times to tumble. The only catch, however, is that there is no time to service the rally cars in between, forcing the drivers to look after their machines on both stages 2 and 3.
The BP Ultimate Polo of Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson was once again the first car to drive over virgin rally roads. Keane completed the 16 kilometers of wet roads around the Duva power station in a time of just 10 minutes and 6 seconds. On stage 3, the repeat of stage 1, Keane bettered his own time from earlier in the day by a massive 12 seconds to set the benchmark time of 19 minutes and 13 seconds.
70, flat right 2, flat 100, left 1, and bump into right 2 in.
Ergen Vekken and Pierre Aries entered this loop of stages with a 5-second advantage over BP Ultimate teammate Keane. On stage 2, this lead grew by another 5 seconds as the current champion set the fastest time of all for his second consecutive stage win. On stage 3, Vekken's stage winning streak ended as his time was slower than the one set by Keane, albeit by only half a second.
Into left 3. 150, stay left, small bump, then 100. Long right 7, over easy jump bridge, 950, caution jump.
All eyes were now on the Castrol Toyota Auris of Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh. With a 23-second deficit after stage 1, Gemmell had it all to do now and pushed hard on stage 2 in order to close the gap to the flying Vekken. The target time was 10 minutes and 1 second. It looked close as he approached the flying finish, but no, 10 minutes and 2 seconds. It was clear that Gemmell had now found his rhythm and was back up to speed following his misfortunes from stage 1. On stage 3, the Castrol Toyota Auris was simply flying as he bettered his own time from earlier in the day by a massive 32 seconds to win the stage overall and to chip away at Vekken's lead.
A little bit else here and there.
From what was now fourth on the road, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd were opting for a more cautious approach. The multiple champions weren't confident with the slippery conditions and didn't want to take any risks so early on in the event. The BP Ultimate Polo set the 4th and 5th fastest times on these 2 stages respectively to occupy 4th on the overall standings. After a shaky start to the season, Marc Tronier has improved on every event, leading up to a commanding victory on the previous round. The Castrol Toyota Auris driver was fighting as always in an effort to lend some support to his teammate. But late in stage 2, he noticed a problem.
I don't know, just not for us. It looks like the engine's gone, so unfortunately, nothing we can do. Off to next year. Damn, what a pity, eh?
The Auris made it back to service, but the damage was done and Cronier was forced to retire. A sad end to his season.
Yeah, we had a good stage. We had a great start. That car felt really good, and sort of through a long left-hander, we just felt it sort of tighten up on us. So we're not quite sure what happened, but unfortunately it's broken, and here we are. So
with Cronier's demise, everyone moved up a position, including the new Africa Developments Toyota Runnix of Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton. Van Niekerk set the 5th fastest time on stage 2 and went one better by setting the 4th fastest time of all on stage 3 to comfortably occupy 5th on the overall leaderboard. Tien Subad had high hopes of a good result together with Scottish navigator Drew Storrock in the Salom Group Polo, but his efforts got stuck in a water splash on stage 2, ending an otherwise impressive and consistent season. The Total Evolution Runnix of Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz were involved in a battle for 6th place with Class S2000 debutants Skalk Burger and Armand de Tooy. Rueda started these two stages 15 seconds behind Burger, but overtook Burger on stage 2 and managed to extend his lead by another 11 seconds on stage 3.
Nearly 2 kilometers from the end, I caught Tiens Hubert standing in the middle of the water splash, and I couldn't get around him, and I had to reverse and come back and try to go around him, and finally I did. But I think we lost a lot of time.
With a 9-second lead at the top of the leaderboard, Hergenvecken is in the perfect position to defend his title. Enzo Kuhn is riding shotgun for his teammate a mere 9 seconds back, while Gemmel managed to close the gap somewhat, but he still finds himself 20 seconds behind his rival. Unfortunately, the names Grenier and Hubert disappear from the leaderboard. After the day's only 3 gravel stages, Hergenvecken has the luxury of a 20-second lead over his title rival, Gemmel.
Yeah, look, we pushed quite hard in the first stage. We made up a bit of a gap. And second stage also we had a good time. We also took some time off him. And third stage he took 1 second back, so I'm not too fussed about that. I'm happy.
Johnny Gemmel lost 23 seconds in stage 1, but has since upped his pace.
It looks a bit slow at the moment, but we still got a tar stage now, 5 Ks or so. Maybe we can maybe do 1 or 2 there, and hopefully tomorrow have another go.
Gravel road racing is done for the day, as the teams head across the street from Barloworld Toyota to tackle each other on a so-called super special stage on tarmac. On a super special, the race is not only against the stopwatch, but also against a fellow competitor at the same time.
First up, rally leaders and teammates Hergenvecken and Pierre Aries and Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson. The BP Ultimate Polos start off using the same piece of tarmac before splitting off to each do their own route of the 4-kilometer course. Each driver will both cover a short and a long loop of the course before meeting up for the final dash to the line. Hergenvecken extended his overall lead by beating teammate Kuhn by 1.2 seconds. Although Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh were lined up to race with Jan Habig and Douglas Judd, the Castrol Toyota Auris was actually in a race with a stopwatch and the time set by Vecken. Gemmel managed to beat Habig by nearly 4 seconds, but more importantly, he closed the gap to Vecken by another 1.6 seconds. Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton were not only involved in a battle with Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz for privateer honours, but also for 5th position overall. The only difference between these two Toyotas is the New Africa Developments versus Total Evolution livery, and on stage 4 it showed as both crossed the flying finish in exactly the same time, a dead heat. In the battle for overall championship honours, it was Advantage Vecken, but behind the top S2000 cars, a number of class championship battles were still raging on. Jard Coetzee and Etienne Lourens were the pace setters in class N4 for production cars and were chasing their maiden win in this category. The turbo-breathing Midas Subaru picked up a punch on stage 3, which cost the pair around 5 minutes that dropped them out of the overall top 10, but it was still good enough to end day 1 as comfortable class leaders. Behind Coetzee, Murray Lloyd and Ralph Lehman survived a tough day 1 in their aging MLC Computer Subaru GT to occupy 2nd position in class N4. The Stassen brothers from Nelspruit, US and Dani, made a welcome return to national rallying in their Subaru Impreza. They were briefly up into 2nd position until their Subaru ran out of fuel on the way back to service after stage 3, bringing a sad end to their comeback. Class A7 is not only South Africa's premier front-wheel drive class and the last stepping stone before making it to the big time, but it's also home to the fantastic championship battle between the team motorized Toyota Runnix of Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee and the Panhard Seats Triton Express Volkswagen Polo of Stefan Wilken and Greg Gericke. Hutchison already has a number of special vehicle off-road championships to his name, and with a slender points advantage over arch rival Wilken going into this final round, he was on course to also add a rally title to his name.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting event all around. I think it's good that it's come down to the wire. It's kept the excitement at a high, and it's almost a winner takes all, you know.
Stefan Wilken had it all to do, knowing that a win is a must to stand any chance of winning the prestigious Class A7 title.
So I have to win this one to win the championship, so I prepared myself for the best, and hopefully that's what we're going to do.
Hutchison and Coetzee drew first blood with a massive 42-second stage win over Wilken on stage 1. Wilken fought back by taking 8 seconds back on stage 2, only to lose another 14 to the motorized Toyota Runnix on stage 3. On stage 4, the last stage of day 1, it was much closer, as Hutchison only beat Wilken by 0.4 of a second. but he still had a very comfortable lead of more than 48 seconds going into day 2. The only other competitors in this rapid class is outgoing class champions Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis in their Total Evolution Toyota Runnix, and the Liquimoli Toyota Corolla of Michael Otto and Tommy de Tooy. Unfortunately for both these teams, the Toyota dealer Gauteng rally ended prematurely. The engine in the Corolla of Otto cried enough on stage 2, while de Wit suffered a roll late on stage 1.
About 100-150 meters before the flying finish, there was a tight right-hander, and the car just dug in. It's lots of ruts.
Class A6 is home to modified rally cars with engines smaller than 2 litres. Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin in the Total Evolution Toyota Auris have already clinched the class championship and continued their winning ways by dominating all 3 opening stages. The season ended badly for former class rivals Rodney Versage and Kerlin Swan in their Total Evolution Runnix. Versage initially held 2nd position until the gearbox in the Runnix expired on stage 3. Versage's demise left the door open for Witbank locals Nico and Gert Nienaber to display their talents behind the wheel of the quick-fit Gesina Toyota Corolla. Nienaber drove faultlessly to go to bed 2nd in Class A6 and 12th overall. But as with so many times before this year, Class A6 belonged to Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin, who in day 1 with a more than 2-minute class lead and 10th overall.
If it was wetter, we would have had a chance to chase the A7s, but the fact that it's not very wet, they can put their power down. So yeah, we'll focus on our class and get as far up the leaderboard as we can.
Class A5 is a battlefield between BP Ultimate City Golf teammates Gugu Zulu and Carl Peskin and Andre Kleinwerk and Des de Fortier. With only 1 round to go, both drivers still have a chance of clinching the class championship, but the odds are stacked in Zulu's favor.
We now need to finish this event as opposed to actually having to win. Andre will probably push for the win, and as for us, we're just going to try and push for a good finish.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a tough one. We're 6 points behind Gugu, so the chances are 50-50.
Kleinwerk's championship chances were faint at the start of this event, but after day 1, he found himself in the perfect position. Not only was he comfortably leading the class, but Zulu was lurking down in 5th due to throttle body issues under the bonnet of his City Golf. Northern Regions regulars Eric de Jager and Robbie Coetzee went pressing friend and foe while lying in a fine 2nd position in their MDJ Motorsport City Golf, ahead of the similar machine of Eastern Cape youngster Morne Janse van Rensburg and Gewald Hutton. Class N3 is the 2nd of the production car classes and home to the near-standard Sasol Toyota Runnix of Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan. Compton already wrapped up the class championship a few events ago and was looking forward to another solid overall performance. He completed day 1 in a strong 13th position overall and with a comfortable Class N3 lead. Rian Erasmus and Herman Groenewald briefly held 2nd position in Class N3, but as we've seen so many times before, rallying can be an unforgiving sport. Thankfully, both driver and navigator escaped this incident without any injury. The surprise of the event was the entry of Megan Verlaak and Gerard Snyman in another Toyota Runnix. Megan, a member of the famous Rally Chick squad, is better known for her role as navigator in sister Lola's S2000 Polo. But for the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally, Megan swapped the maps for driving gloves and occupied 2nd in class in spite of having a flat tire, ahead of the Ford Fiesta driven by Tony Barbosa and Kenny Hill.
The sun is setting over the Mpumalanga Highveld, leaving 26 of the original 37 starters to reflect on a tough day's rallying, while a typical Highveld thunderstorm closes in. This is the final day of the 2009 Sasol South African Rally Championship. Overnight rain means a wait start for the remaining crews and a new playground. Day 2 is all based in and around the Rally Star facility, close to Bobsfontein, east of Johannesburg and Pretoria. Rally Star is a mecca for all rally drivers and teams in Gauteng, and home to the famous Super Special Stage and the Rally Star Academy. But on the final day of this year's championship, Rally Star is also home to the day that will decide the outcome of the championship, as 8 stages covering 76 kilometers were all that stood between Hergen Feken or Johnny Gemmell and the coveted crown of Sasol South African Rally Champion. On day 1, Hergen Feken drove like a man possessed in order to open up a gap. He was rewarded with a 20-second overnight lead. But will 20 seconds be enough?
Yeah, it's going to be hard work. It looks like it's wet in places. You know, if you slip a bit wide, you could lose 20 odd seconds. So I think it's going to be a tough day.
Johnny Gemmell had it all to do. The question in his mind had to be, is 20 seconds too much?
You know, it rained quite a bit last night, so it becomes quite a lottery, eh? One little slip here or there, like I had yesterday in stage 1, can cost you 15, 20 seconds.
Enzo Keen was only 10 seconds from the lead, but he had a job to do.
Well, I'm here to do a job of protect Jurgen, so I think I'm in the perfect position for that at the moment.
Stage 5, or the first stage of Saturday, is the famous Rally Star Super Special Stage. As if it isn't tough enough to race the stopwatch, the teams will also have to face each other, the wet conditions, as well as huge jumps that will launch the cars into the air right in front of the spectators.
It's the first stage of Saturday and the perfect time to make a move or to not make a mistake. The New Africa Developments Toyota Rynix of Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houten and the Total Evolution Toyota Rynix of Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz both found the going slippery. Van Niekerk lost a few seconds to Rueda on the first run over this tricky super special, but still maintained his 5th place overall ahead of the Spaniard. The next race was unfortunately not between championship rivals Gemmell and Fecken, as Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh lined up to battle it out with Jan Habig and Douglas Judd. It served as a great indication as to what sort of mood Gemmell was in, as the Castrol Toyota Auris flew over the finish jump in a time of 2 minutes and 6 seconds, a full 3 seconds faster than the BP Ultimate Polo of Habig.
2, 1, go.
Hargen Fecken and Pierre Addis had a 20-second lead over arch rival Gemmell, but their first obstacle for the day was second-placed BP Ultimate teammates Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson. Fecken lost this small little battle to Keen, but more importantly, his time of 2 minutes and 11 seconds was a full 5 seconds slower than that of Gemmell. The lead had shrunk from 20 seconds to 15 seconds in just 2 kilometers, and the championship fight was on.
After 5 of 12 stages, Gemmell's stage-winning time puts him right back into contention, and now only 14 seconds behind championship rival Fecken. But Keen holds all the aces as he now moves to within 6 seconds from the lead. Habig maintains his 4th ahead of Van Niekerk and Rueda. After the break, the 2009 Sasol South African Rally Championship enters its final few stages. Will Fecken hang on to his lead, or will Gemmell close the gap? Remain before the 2009 Sasol South African Rally Champion will be crowned. At this stage, it's advantage Fecken as he has a 15-second lead over Gemmell, but the Toyota driver is now on a charge and has Fecken in his sights. Toyota dealer Gauteng rally action continues with stage 6 or Tweefontein. This 24-kilometer stage ends right at Rally Star, providing the large and enthusiastic crowd with another perfect opportunity to get close to all the action.
Overnight, 6th placed Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz had no choice but to open the road on day 2. The Total Evolution Rynix blasted around Tweefontein and through the mud in a time of 17 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh, we must respond 4 times and overshot another 3. It's just like so. Really, it's like if you were trying to drive on salt.
Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houten had high hopes of finishing their 2nd season behind the wheel of the New Africa Developments Toyota Rynix on a high note. Van Niekerk perhaps even had ambitions to try and close the gap to 4th place Habig. But on stage 6 it all went wrong. The New Africa Developments Rynix slipped on the slippery mud and got stuck for nearly 5 agonizing minutes. The pair eventually managed to free the Rynix at last and survived another wrong slot closer to the end, but in excess of 5 minutes was lost, and with it, all chances of a better finish.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with the car. It's just extremely wet out there, and you know, we went through a big mud puddle, and we, you know, didn't direct us in the right direction. We went right, and we got stuck there, and that's the story.
Jan Habig and Douglas Judd were the next ones to tackle Tweefontein in their BP Ultimate Polo. The benchmark time so far was the 17 minutes and 10 seconds set by Rueda. But Habig thrashed this time by crossing the flying finish in 16 minutes and 21 seconds. It often only takes one stage to decide the outcome of a rally, or even worse, the outcome of an entire championship. For Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh, the 23-kilometer Tweefontein stage was the stage for them to make their move. The Castrol Toyota Auris was flying on the stage before, proving that Gemmell had every intention to fight to the bitter end.
Wow, same stage, same place. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Same stage. Well, I can't believe this. Dead.
It's only 2 running. Smoking engine.
It's gone. Okay, engine's gone. Ah, man. Huh?
Rivals Hergen was the next car on the road. When the BP Ultimate Polo passed the stricken Auris, it became clear that the fight was over.
No, we passed John in the stage about halfway. What does it look like? Are you going to get out? No, he's out of the car. He's showed us to go fast, so I think it's over.
It was all over for Gemmell and Toyota, who had no choice but to accept defeat after a brave fight to the bitter end.
I think it's emotional. I mean, you know, we really tried hard. We was right there till the end. I think we had a good season. You know, it was a good fight with Volkswagen all the way up to the end. But today just didn't work out. And, you know, I feel for Johnny. I know he's tried his best. I mean, the team has tried their best. We were there right up to the end. But it's not the way that we wanted it to finish. We would have loved to see that last stage, 1 second, you know, that build-up. And, yes, it just didn't transpire that way.
In the harsh and relentless world of South African rallying, defeat for one team means victory for another.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for Johnny. He was standing there next to the road, and I didn't know if I must shout yay or ah. I was looking forward to the dice, but yeah, luckily now the championship's wrapped up, so now we can push, try and see if we can win this rally.
The championship might have been over, but the rally still had to be decided. Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson put their heads down and won stage 6 in a blistering time of just 16 minutes and 0 seconds to move past their teammates and straight into the rally lead.
Down and left 2 into left 2 and left 8. Watch the 8 coming, 8 left.
Yeah, no, things have turned upside down, and it's great for Volkswagen. We're in good spirit. And I was first to congratulate Hergen. I'm sure he had a smile on his face when he passed Johnny Gemmell on the side of the road.
After the Battle of Tweefontein, the dust and mud settled and order was restored to the chaos that raged just before. Volkswagen emerged from the battle in pole position with Keane, Feken and Jan Habig occupying the top 3 positions.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough rally, you know, it's quite wet and slippery. And, you know, yeah, 1, 2, 3 for VW is very good.
Confirmation of a very different looking leaderboard after stage 6. Previously second placed Enzo Kuhn slips past his teammate Feken into the rally lead. But sadly for Toyota and rally fans in general, the championship battle is over as Gemmell's name disappears from the leaderboard. Van Niekerk loses a number of places while Skalkberger now finds himself in 4th position overall.
The super special stage at Rally Star provided a great spectacle throughout the day for the enthusiastic fans, as the stage was run no less than 4 times. With the championship fight settled, the remaining dirt road warriors could focus on the new task at hand, and that is to win the rally. Hergen, Feken and Pierre Aris had to temporarily put their championship winning joy at the back of their minds, and they did, as the BP Ultimate Polo won stage 7.
So right 6.
Teammates Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson were only 1.3 seconds slower, maintaining their comfortable lead at the top. Jan Habig and Douglas Judd set the 3rd fastest time to consolidate their 3rd position overall, while Van Niekerk was on the comeback trail after his earlier drama. The new Africa Developments Runix set the 4th fastest time, but Van Niekerk was still 6th on the overall leaderboard. Ahead of Van Niekerk, Skalkberger and Armand de Tooy were now in a fierce battle with a similar Total Evolution Toyota Runix of Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz. Berger was now having a dream debut in the top S2000 class and completed stage 7 in 4th overall with a slender 4-second advantage over the popular Spaniard in 5th.
Stages 8 and 9 are run without any service in between, again placing emphasis on reliability. Together they only account for 19 kilometers of special stage distance, but as we've seen, a lot can happen in 19 kilometers.
It's tough to compete against the might of the Volkswagen and Toyota factory teams, something which Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton have succeeded in doing to a certain extent. The new Africa Developments Toyota Runix was still way down in 6th, but set the 4th and 3rd fastest times on stages 8 and 9. Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz started these two stages just 4 seconds behind Class S2000 newcomers Skalk Burger and Armand de Tooy. But on stage 8, Burger extended his lead by 21 seconds and took another second from the Spaniard on stage 9 to comfortably maintain his 4th position overall. The event started slowly for Jan Habig and Douglas Judd, who was slightly off the pace during Friday stages. Habig looked more at home on Saturday stages while entertaining the crowds with his spectacular driving style, setting the 2nd fastest times on both stages 8 and 9. With the championship now in the bag, Hergen Fekken and Pierre Aries could drive without any pressure on their shoulders. It sounds easy, but it's actually a very difficult situation to be in, as it is so easy to lose concentration and to make a mistake. On stage 8, they closed the gap to teammate Enzo Keen's lead by a full 7 seconds. Teammates or not, Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson would have none of it. The lengthy Cape Townian hasn't tasted victory since last year's Sassel rally almost 18 months ago. On stage 9, Keen opened up the taps again and extended his lead over Fekken by another 11 seconds, stamping his authority on the Toyota dealer Gauteng rally.
Then 150, right 2 is turn right 9. There's the arrow, turn right 9. Right 9, left into left 2.
We're in a comfortable lead, yes, and we're going to get to the end. My aim for today was to help Bergen win the championship. That is done, so we are pleased.
With very few kilometers to go, Keen has a 13-second lead over teammate Fekken, with Habig a further 44 seconds back. Volkswagen's second 1-2-3 finish for the season was now within reach, and as they weren't prepared to gamble with such a good result, team boss Mike Barnard instructed his drivers to bring all 3 cars safely home. Stages of the 2009 Sassel South African Rally Championship. Stage 11 is a repeat of Tweefontein, the now infamous stage that settled the championship earlier in the day, followed by the final run over the now dusty Super Special at Rally Star.
With a number of top drivers falling by the wayside, Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton were hoping for a much better result in the new Africa Developments Toyota Runix. But to survive a battle this tough, albeit with a few wounds, is still an accomplishment. The Pretoria businessman reached the Rally Star finish in a respectable 6th position overall. In front of Van Niekerk, the battle between the Skalk Burger Motorsport Toyota Runix and the Total Evolution version of Fernando Rueda raged on. Burger and de Tooy had a fairly comfortable lead over Rueda going into stage 11. But Rueda and Lefkowitz managed to close the gap by a massive 25 seconds over Tweefontein. As these two rivals went into the last stage of the year, the gap was less than 6 seconds in Burger's favor. Rueda tried everything in the book to overtake Burger over the last 2 kilometers, but it wasn't enough, allowing Burger to record a dream finish on his S2000 debut, 4th place overall on a national rally.
I started off yesterday terrible and I couldn't just get rhythm, you know, and today it just seems to get better and better, and yeah, I think with time I'll get faster.
On the day before, a total of 37 teams took the starters' orders at the Bala World Toyota start in Middelburg. As the rally was now nearing its end, the remaining 21 teams were all still involved in their own respective battles, not only for class honours, but to simply reach the end of the rally and the 2009 season. After the demise of the Stassen brothers on the day before, only 2 Class N4 production cars remained. Regional Championship regulars Murray Lloyd and Ralph Lehman in their MLC Computers Subaru Impreza GT ended second in the production car stakes after a rally fraught with problems, including getting bogged down for a full 10 minutes on the final stage. Charles Coetzee and Etienne Lourens overcame their puncture problems from day 1 to set top 10 times throughout the second day. It was also Coetzee's maiden year in national rallying, and although the Midas Subaru suffered from a few reliability issues throughout the season, Coetzee was showing more and more promise. A lot of this can be attributed to the services of Etienne Lourens in the passenger seat. Lourens is a former rally winner who now turned to navigating and coaching. The result? Coetzee's maiden production car win and a respectable 7th overall.
Been a long time coming, but I'm very happy. That's all I have to say.
The prestigious Class A7 title or the championship for two-wheel drive cars still had to be decided. Going into the final few stages of day 2, the motorized Toyota Runnings of Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee had a commanding lead over title rivals Stefan Wilken and Greg Gericke. But Wilken is lightning quick and set off to reduce the gap, only to get stuck in the mud on Tweefontein. It seemed like the by now infamous Tweefontein stage has settled yet another title.
No, nothing's over until the fat lady sings. You know, we decided to push this morning, and obviously it was working. We were catching Evan in this stage. A little mishap there. Yeah, we got stuck. We lost some time. But as you said, it's over. It's not over until it's over.
Unfortunately for Wilken, it was over, as the officials ruled that he received outside assistance when marshals pulled his Panhard Seed Triton Express Polo from the mud, leading to exclusion. One would think that Hutchison then had an easy drive to finish to claim his first ever rally title to go with a string of national off-road titles. But rallying is a cruel sport. The motorized Runnings first picked up a puncture on the first corner of stage 7. After that, it started overheating, and to add to his woes, the clutch expired, forcing Hutchison to start the last 4 stages on the starter motor. He soldiered on regardless to not only reach the finish in 9th overall, but to also claim the Class A7 championship.
Yeah, we're thrilled. I'm really happy for my sponsor, Motorized.
Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin have already clinched the Class A6 championship in their Total Evolution Toyota Auris a few rounds ago. But the Sanine businessman was determined to end the season on an even higher note. Throughout the season, Musa regularly placed the Class A6 Auris in between faster machinery on the leaderboard, and the Toyota dealer Gauteng rally was no different. And what was probably his last outing in the Class A6 car before he moves up the ranks, Musa finished the rally in 8th overall, his highest overall placing of the season.
No, this rally was great. We came here just to have fun. There was absolutely no pressure at all, and we just drove the car as quickly as it can go.
Brothers Nico and Gert Nienaber were equally impressive in their aging quick-fit Gesina Toyota Corolla. The Nienabers grew up on Highveld rally roads, and it showed as they posted a career-best 2nd in Class A6 and 10th overall. In Class A5, Andre Kleinberg and Des de Fortier had to win, and teammates Guga Zulu and Carl Peskin had to finish 5th in order for Kleinberg to retain his class title. Incredibly, that was exactly how things stood on Friday after Zulu lost more than 10 minutes. Kleinberg was well in the lead until just 150 meters from the end of the final stage of the entire year, when his BP Ultimate City Golf refused to climb a big jump on the Rally Star Super Special after an air sensor failed. He eventually ended up reversing the car over the obstacle, but lost 4 minutes and the title, while Zulu climbed to 3rd in class. It was enough to claim another Class A5 championship.
We had the script written. We thought we'd have a good run, just maintain the pace, and basically run just behind Andre, or even try and actually win the event. The very last stage, you know, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and yeah, here we are, winners 2009.
Regional competitors Eric de Jager and Robbie Coetzee were consistent all day and were rewarded with a maiden Class A5 win in their MDJ Motorsport City Golf.
Yeah, well, I guess they had problems and we had pretty much clean runs, so it was a good rally for us.
In Class N3, the second class for near standard production cars, Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan were on course to record their 6th win of the year for Team Sassel, and were running in 11th position overall. But on stage 10, the 3rd run over the Super Special, the gearbox and the Sassel Runnings failed, forcing them to retire. The famous Rally Chicks camp was now holding thumbs, not for the experienced Lola Verlaag, but for younger sister Megan, who made her national debut as a driver on this event to reach the finish. Megan acquired the services of Gerard Snyman to do the navigating, and together the pair consistently set fastest stage times in Class N3. Verlaag reached the end in 13th overall and recorded her first national class win in the process.
No, it wasn't expected, because obviously Dave Compton's been driving that car and obviously has a lot more experience than me. So I think it's horrible luck that what he had, and you know, it's really nice that I got to win class though, my first national.
Hutchison takes the Class A7 win and the championship, while Musa's dominance of Class A6 continues ahead of the Nienaber brothers. De Jager claims a maiden Class A5 victory, but 2nd was enough for Zulu to be crowned class champion. Megan Verlaag takes Class N3 ahead of the only other class survivor, Tony Barbosa.
Back at the top, the final podium of the Toyota dealer Gauteng rally still had to be decided. It was an almost certainty that all 3 steps would be filled by BP Ultimate Volkswagens, but in what order? Jan Habig and Douglas Judd looked fast and spectacular as always, but going into the final few stages, third-placed Habig was still more than 40 seconds behind second-placed Ficken, so there was no need to try anything radical and risk damage. Habig safely reached the end for yet another podium finish in his long and illustrious career. Newly crowned South African champions Hergen Ficken and Pierre Aries might have had ideas to finish the last rally not only as champions, but also as rally winners. With just 3 stages to go, Ficken was close to the lead, but it wasn't close enough. The champions had no choice but to settle for a still very satisfying second position. And what a vintage year for the BP Ultimate Volkswagen squad, and what a way to finish it off for Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson. Keen, champion in 2006, was unstoppable on day 2. He took the lead on the first stage of the day and never looked back, reminding all his fans that his career is far from over. A perfect calculated drive which ended in a perfect result for the BP Ultimate Volkswagen team.
A 24-second win for Enzo Keen over teammate and 2009 champion Hergen Ficken. Jan Habig completes the podium, while Skalkberger celebrated Dream Class S2000 debut in 4th, ahead of Rueda and Van der Kerk. Chart Coetzee takes 7th, ahead of the first front-wheel drive car of Musa. Nico Nienaber completes the top 10. The 2009 season draws to a close with a fine win for Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson, who become only the 4th pairing this entire year to taste champagne from the top step of the podium.
It's really stunning. We worked as a team today, and I think we achieved everything today.
Ficken and Aries were 1 position short from recording their 4th win of the year, but the celebration was more about the championship.
Towards the end, we started realizing we were 1, 2 and 3 on the rally, and we decided to end in that order.
Habig completes yet another successful season at the pinnacle of South African rallying with a podium finish.
Yeah, it's really okay. You know, I think it was a good team strategy. I think there was a lot of support for Hergen. They drove well, and I think the championship and a 1, 2, 3 on the event and on the day is good.